we have been talking about what people buy is the benefit, the payoff, rather than features and advantages.
Absolutely.
And that payoff is to do with helping them with their needs and their wants.
Yeah.
And we have a model, don't we, Steve, that explains what the difference is between a need and a want.
Yeah.
What is it?
We use the Iceberg principle. It's a well-thumbed, well-used psychological principle. The psychologists say that somebody's reason for doing something, you see in round numbers, about 10% of it above the surface of the water, and the other 90% is below the surface of the water. So why people do things is, in the main, not visible and obvious.
No.
And just building the picture a little bit, excuse me, forgive me if I mix my metaphors a little bit, but they also talk about the right reason for doing something,
yes,
and the real reason for doing something.
Yeah.
So, were you to, say, singly walking down the street, and you said, "Hi, Steve, how are you?"
Yes.
My right answer,
yes,
tip of the iceberg, is "I'm fine, thanks."
Yeah.
And if you stop there, you wouldn't have gone below the surface of the water.
Right.
You're up in the tip of the iceberg.
Right, so it's like an iceberg analogy where the iceberg is the bit sticking out, a very small bit,
yes,
relative to the rest of it, which is deep.
Yeah. And if you were to extend it a bit and take a bit more trouble with your questioning,
yes,
you might get to the real answer.
Yes.
So if you were to say, "Fine, thank you," doesn't sound fantastic.
Yes.
How are you really?
Yeah.
I might say, actually, I've been feeling really unwell for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I've had a fever.
Yeah.
I'm under pressure at work. I'm really quite concerned about my job, etc., etc. So you get a lot more of what's under the surface.
Yes.
By better questioning, more thorough, more incisive questioning.
Yes. So it's kind of recognising the first answer you get might just be the right answer, the reflex answer.
Yeah.
The real answer needs digging out. People don't necessarily kind of volunteer it.
Yes.
And it's reflecting the idea of you see people's behaviour fairly easily, what they're doing, what they're wearing, what they're volunteering, if you like.
Yeah.
But the reason for the behaviour is the bit below the surface.
Yeah.
And the analogy that comes to mind also is when you sometimes go into a shop and you say, the assistant comes over and says, "Can I help you?" And most people, 99 times out of 100, they say, "No, it's okay, thanks, I'm only looking."
Yes.
Then 5 minutes later,
they buy 5 suits.
They're looking for the assistant because they actually want some help. Yeah. So, in a selling sense, Steve, how does that relate to the kind of the idea of this combination of needs and wants?
Yeah. Well, we extend the iceberg principle into needs and wants. So the tip of the iceberg are that's where the logically based needs are.
Yes.
So these are typically things like timescales. Can you meet them? Budget, perhaps.
Yes.
Do your references check out?
Yes.
Do you meet certain quality standards? Maybe it's quality accreditation standards.
Yes.
Valid.
Yeah.
You need to understand those things.
Yeah.
Increasingly in this day and age, you can check out that kind of information remotely.
Yeah.
You probably don't need to turn up and have a conversation with people some of the time to get that kind of information.
Yeah.
Internet, the obvious kind of medium for it.
Yeah.
So you have your logically based needs.
Yeah.
And then, rather like, I need a 4-door saloon to go to the supermarket on Saturday with. So that's what I need. But what I want is a Mercedes. It's the same kind of principle, and then as opposed to the logically based needs, you have the emotionally based wants. So 90% of the iceberg.
To get from A to B, you could choose however many cars or even other forms of transport, I guess.
Indeed.
But you want a Mercedes for a particular reason, which is more kind of emotionally driven.
It could be tied up with status, it could be tied up with self-esteem, kudos, and those things. So the emotive reasons for, in this instance, wanting a Mercedes, down there in the iceberg under the water.
Yeah.
And in sales terms, under that wants heading, there's a heck of a lot. There's a long list. But a few examples: ego, company politics, maybe personal chemistry to do with getting on with people or not. CV building, the type of person who wants to improve their CV by doing innovative things. What we sometimes call not invented here. It's a good idea, it was my idea. If it was a bad idea, it had nothing to do with me. Prestige, you know, those, all of the security, is this going to cost me my job if I get it wrong? That they're emotions, they're emotively based, and we call those wants.
And it's that combination, is it, that you've actually got the logical things they're trying to achieve. Then you've got the wants are actually coming from those emotional drivers. And I guess some people might want something that actually they don't need, or it's a wrong solution. You know, the Mercedes may not be the right solution.
You just always wanted one.
But it's just always wanted one.
Very much so.
And are people always conscious of those wants, Steve?
No, they're not. No, sometimes they're buried deep in the subconscious sometimes. And our questioning sometimes helps to bring them out. Okay, so it's not necessarily that they're not volunteering them to you or holding them back. It's the fact that until you ask them the question, they can't even access it themselves. That's right.
It's sort of psychological thing. They need to be asked a question so that you can stimulate their brain